All right, let's dive right in. Welcome to episode 26, week 24. This is your AI weekly wrap, covering OpenAI, Anthropic, Siri AI, and some truly massive global moves. In this incredibly packed week 24 explainer, we're tracking how AI evolved from bureaucratic maneuvering on Monday straight through to literal global deployments by the weekend. We have an astonishing amount of ground to cover today, from orbital data centers to artificial engineers, and honestly, the pace of development right now is just staggering. So, just how much can AI actually change in a single week? To answer that, we're mapping out every major development chronologically. And as you'll see, the stakes of this technology are escalating daily. The big takeaway from today's explainer is that AI is no longer just a fun research experiment. It is actively rewriting the rules of government, enterprise, and our actual physical global infrastructure. We kick off the week in Washington, where they were reportedly discussing a U.S. equity stake in OpenAI. Notice the public wealth fund concept here? It's essentially a 1 to 5% stake, designed to give everyday Americans a direct financial cut of the AI boom. It's an idea that even Donald Trump praised as a beautiful partnership to make the public rich. But on the flip side, critics like former AI czar David Sachs are warning that this represents a pretty dangerous merger of state and corporate power. So we're looking at a classic tension here, right? Spreading unprecedented wealth versus the inherent conflict of a government simultaneously profiting from and trying to regulate a frontier technology. And while Washington was busy debating ownership, Anthropic was out there pushing the boundaries of the tech itself, releasing Claude Fable 5. Now, this isn't just a routine chatbot refresh, not at all. Anthropic is positioning Fable 5 as a high-cost, high-capability digital employee for serious, heavy-duty workflows. It's built for those ambitious tasks where an AI agent might need to run for hours, reasoning across massive amounts of context to hand back materially complete work. It's a huge shift from casual prompting to true foundational infrastructure for knowledge work. Now, contrast that heavy-duty approach with what Apple is doing. Down at WWDC 2026, Apple unveiled their Siri AI overhaul, and they're heavily prioritizing privacy and system-wide actions over those raw frontier capabilities. By using custom models and specialized versions of Google's Gemini, the new Siri can actually reason directly from whatever is on your screen, processing everything either right there on your device or via their private cloud compute. Sure, for power users who are used to unrestricted models, it might feel a little underwhelming. But for the everyday iPhone user, it is an incredibly safe, accessible bridge right into the AI era. Moving over to OpenAI's roadmap, Sam Altman and Jacob Kochecki just outlined what they're calling their third phase. And their ambition is crystal clear: automate the research process, accelerate the global economy, and ultimately give everyone a personal AGI. But you know what's equally fascinating? What they paused to suggest alongside all those massive goals. They pitched a global coordination body to rein in or even pause frontier risks. Seeing the world's leading AI lab push for hyper-acceleration while simultaneously hovering over a global pause button really highlights just how consequential this next generation of models is going to be. Meanwhile, down in Argentina, President Javier Milei is literally pushing the frontiers of corporate law with a bill that would allow AI to own and run corporations. This is a massive, first-mover deregulation effort. He wants to give these non-human corporations liability protections and tax benefits, basically trying to make Argentina the easiest place on earth to do business. But historian Yuval Noah Harari immediately pushed back on this, warning that granting legal personhood to AI could spawn a completely unregulatable AI state. Once again, we're seeing this fascinating clash of objectives: the drive for ultimate economic efficiency versus the existential fear of losing human accountability. So how do labs balance those exact capabilities and risks? When we look at Anthropic's current lineup, Fable 5 strategically bridges the gap between everyday models like Opus 4.8 and their true unrestricted Mythos tier. And check out the pricing. It's $10 for input and $50 for output per million tokens. That is steep, clearly reflecting its premium nature. But look at the safeguards. If Fable 5 detects a risky query, say something about biology or cybersecurity, it actually automatically routes the response back to the safer Opus 4.8 model. And new data from Perplexity and Harvard Business School proves exactly why these premium models matter. Look at this disparity. Users spend an average of 33 seconds on a traditional search, but when you hand them a computer agent, they are spending 26 minutes per query. Let that sink in. People aren't just using AI to save a few seconds on a quick lookup anymore. They're trusting these agents with vastly more complex, multidisciplinary creative tasks. The ambition level has completely leveled up. Okay, let's take all this high-level tech and drop it right into the dirt, because this translates into the real world in the most amazing way. Take Hiroki Tomiyasu, a self-taught Japanese broccoli farmer in Hokkaido. He is using ChatGPT and Codex to essentially build his very own 24/7 engineering department, and he's doing it for the cost of a basic subscription. The AI analyzes satellite imagery of his 100-hectare farm, diagnoses plant diseases, and get this, he even built a system where a simple text message to a chatbot physically opens and closes his greenhouse vents. It just proves that the barrier to complex automation is suddenly wide open for absolutely anyone. But on the flip side of that grassroots freedom, we have Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei publishing an urgent essay literally begging for faster regulation. He explicitly calls these frontier models tools of global and national strategic consequence. Amodei is sounding the alarm on unprecedented hacking risks and massive future unemployment, and he humorously compares Washington regulators to the slow-moving tree men from Lord of the Rings. When an industry market leader is effectively telling governments, please regulate me harder, and demanding the power to ground dangerous models, it tells you just how steep the exponential curve of this technology has become. And that exponential curve requires an unimaginable amount of computing power. Which brings us to SpaceX. Elon Musk just revealed the AI-1 satellite design, which takes those massive compute demands and moves them entirely off-planet. We are talking about a solar-powered orbital data center that packs the punch of a top-tier NVIDIA server rack, completely sidestepping all the fierce power grid battles happening here on Earth. And this isn't just some sci-fi moonshot. Google and Anthropic have already signed on as paying customers for this orbital compute space. Back down on Earth, an internal Slack message leaked showing Sam Altman tying OpenAI's looming IPO timing not just to those massive infrastructure costs, but to a really fascinating variable, self-improving AI. Altman suggested to his staff that if self-improving AI looks like it's taking off soon, it could actually be advantageous to delay their IPO. Think about the implications of that for a second. The frontier labs are treating artificial intelligence that can modify and improve its own code, not as a futuristic talking point, but as a serious near-term business reality that dictates financial strategy. That same mind-bending scale is mirrored over by Jeff Bezos. He just backed his new AI startup Prometheus with a staggering $12 billion, yes, billion with a B, at a $41 billion valuation. His goal? To create an artificial general engineer for complex physical machines, like jet engines. Bezos wants to take the decade-long process of engineering heavy physical machinery and make it 10 times faster. And unlike Amodei's warnings about unemployment, Bezos is predicting this productivity boost will actually create a massive labor shortage and elevate the global standard of living. But look, scaling this tech to a global level is definitely not without friction. Anthropic faced a massive researcher revolt this week over Fable 5's overzealous safety filters. The model was invisibly downgrading answers regarding AI development and literally blocking scientists from just saying hello because of super strict biology and chemistry filters. Former White House AI advisor Dean Ball called the whole thing shockingly hostile. It's a pretty stark reminder that while the benchmarks look incredible on paper, the actual day-to-day user experience of keeping these models safe is currently a very messy, highly contentious balancing act. Finally, let's look at how all this is blending into our actual everyday culture. Down in Mexico City, the 2026 FIFA World Cup is wiring AI into the literal fabric of the tournament. We are talking about 150 million data points captured per match, an Adidas ball reporting its exact position 500 times a second. Every single player receiving a 3D body scan for instant automated offside detection. Oh, and Google Gemini isn't just running back-end analytics for the squads. They are now the global sponsor for the defending champion Argentina national team. Which leaves us with this thought to wrap up today's explainer. AI is rapidly moving out of the bureaucratic debates in Washington, past the messy researcher revolts in the labs, and straight into the center of the world's biggest cultural events. If all of this AI infrastructure works perfectly at the World Cup, 5 billion soccer fans won't even notice a single thing. So, is it completely invisible, seamless integration actually artificial intelligence's ultimate triumph? Definitely something to chew on as this technology continues to disappear right into the background of our lives. Thanks for hanging out and learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.